All right, what's up, everyone? It is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. We have 8 games to talk about again today, starting a little early, so apologies if you come in late and we're already talking. But Nolan, how are you doing this afternoon? What are we looking at for some NHL news?
No, it's not too much going on today. It's just kind of a slow day in terms of news. A few little things here and there that we'll probably get to as we go through the games. But in terms of major news, it's more just the Taylor Hall game time decision for the Devils. I'd expect him to play, but we'll find out obviously a little closer too, and that opens up some interesting options. If he does in fact go, I would expect no one to own him. So
Yeah, my boy Taylor Hall. I don't know what I'm gonna do if he's not on the slate, but that's actually not really a game I'm super interested in.
no,
So if Hall plays, I would think those top two lines kind of cancel each other out. I don't like targeting Vegas. Vegas one
next
is
one's
is
cheap,
cheap.
like as
Yeah,
as always.
they're
But
I don't know what's going on with them. I guess maybe just the results haven't been there for most of
yeah,
the season, but man, they're a really really good line, and they've just been underpriced. So in my
yeah.
what do you plan on doing for like number of lineups tonight? What tournaments are you playing?
So I'm playing. I maxed out on the $23 one, and then I'm gonna go. I'll put a few lineups into the $8 one as
Yeah,
well.
I like it.
Personally, I like targeting that $3 one just because you're avoiding the osmos, the testosterones, all that, and those guys entering 150 lineups. So I've had more success targeting that one, and
Yeah,
then I haven't checked out FanDuel, but I might just have to go over there just so I can play Nurse at $4,000.
yeah, he's super cheap.
Yeah.
So he probably will be 4,000 for the next 2 weeks, and then once Clefbaum gets back, they'll bump him up to about
They're so
5,600.
I don't get why they're so terrible at adjusting their lineups. Like just do what DraftKings does, put a DL tag on the guy. You don't have to take him out. Like at least half their contests are missing some major
Yep.
person that's either been activated. It's just like it just seems so ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense at all. But I mean, it's kind of what they just kind of
They're
decided
so popular.
they don't care about
Hockey.
hockey, so that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
DK's doing a decent job, I think. Like this time last year, I remember I was pretty angry with the contest selections. I was playing a little bit different stakes.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's good. My feelings on Saturday slates on DK for NHL are the same.
Terrible.
Yeah, they just don't have much at the different pricing tiers, which is really frustrating. But
Yeah,
I've just either taken my action to FanDuel on Saturday or just um, played one lineup on DK, and so just playing less
yeah.
volume on the days where I don't like the tournaments that
Saturdays
they
are
have.
weird ones too. Like I don't know, I never play as much on Saturday, and it's weird because like that's the marquee day of hockey, right? Like it
Yep.
should be big, but it's just not. They don't seem to care. Like I don't know if that changes now that college football is over, but we'll see. It generally hasn't been very good
Yeah.
on draft for
I
sure.
bet once the Saturday playoff games for the NFL have passed, then we'll
Yeah.
probably
Oh yeah,
see
that
some
too.
better contests.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping at least. So,
Speaking of NFL, are you going to play in this Yahoo two hundred fifty
oh yeah,
thousand dollar
got to,
overlay? That's
got to,
nuts.
got to. Yeah. So using the code OSMO, you guys can get you get a referral bonus. I can't remember. Is it like $30, Nolan? I
Yeah, I
can't
think it's
remember.
$30. Yeah.
$30. Yeah. So we both play NFL DFS. I'm not very good. I've had a bad season, but I always fire in a bunch of bullets and like the mini maxes and stuff like that. This week though, like I'm making my 5 to 10 lineups and I'm going on Yahoo because this tournament it's 250K of implied overlay already. So even like what the guys were saying on before us, from A to B, Andrew Barron, Ben Raza, what they were saying is that even if the entire tournament fills, Yahoo's still giving you 250K in overlay,
Yeah, I
which
did the
is
math on
wild.
that. Like when they tweeted that out, and I was like, I thought it was an error because it's like
Well,
37,500 entries, $20 entry fee, million in prizes. So that's $750,000 in contest fees. So $250,000 Yahoo's kicking in. So that's nice. That's a little bit. I mean, I think if you're going to take your money somewhere this week, you might as well go there. Take the free, forget the 15% rakes on either site,
oh
and
yeah,
take the free rake plus free money rake on Yahoo.
they're literally giving you free positive expected value. Like it's just you never see
Yep.
this. So
Yeah, never.
you're getting like 16% rake if you're not playing the high dollar tournaments on
Yep.
DK and FanDuel. This is literally they're like you're already making money when the tournament starts. Like not saying it's free guaranteed money, but like It's just wild.
Yeah.
It's really great marketing. I hope it fills, because then I hope we see more sites do stuff like this.
Yeah, and increased competition is probably better for the user.
Oh,
Like we've
so
seen,
much
like
better.
DraftKings when we initially started with them, their rakes weren't above 10%. Now they're like you can find what 16, 17 is the highest. So yeah, I think increased competition will make them kind of fight for our dollars. And if Yahoo gets in, there's certainly such a powerhouse in fantasy sports that they might have some leverage there as well.
Yeah. So this is awesome. We should support them. Not only because it's like a nice thing they're doing, but just for the like health of the industry. I think if you care about DFS, like you should be maxing this tournament if you can afford it. Don't go out of your normal like bankroll limits. But if you play $200 a week and you multi-enter or whatever, play this tournament. It's you never see stuff like this in this.
And it's
time
is it a 10 entry max as well? I
10
think so.
entry
That's
max.
kind of so that's nice as well. Like you're not going to be going up against pros entering 150 lineups, and you're maxing out at $200. Like that's nothing, right? And so obviously you're going to get some of that back even if you don't do well. So
Right. Yeah.
no brainer.
As long as you're diversifying, you're not losing $200. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, hopefully we see more stuff like this from Yahoo, like rate-free tournaments. That would be pretty wild.
Oof,
So,
that would be amazing, actually.
yeah. So just wanted to make sure we talk about that. The 24 days of giveaways still going on. Nolan, you think of a comment while I kind of explain what's going on. Each day we are giving away a free Osmo.com subscription for a month to the winner's choice. So NFL, NHL, NBA, you get a free month of Osmo.com premium or a piece of merchandise from our new shop at Osmo.com. And this will be the last day of this, and then we'll have another giveaway starting tomorrow with On the Contrary, so our most popular football show. Nolan's been on that a couple times. Very informative show with Evan Silva, Osmo, and Chris Spags. So for today, to get entered in this drawing, you like this video, you comment. What should they comment, Nolan?
Most shots by a defenseman on tonight's slate.
Most shots by a defenseman. All right. So comment most shots by a defenseman, whether it's going to be like Darnell Nurse or Bufflin.
Just type in Nurse and you're good.
There you go. Yeah, Nurse, Bufflin. I know you like Nurse tonight, so especially on FanDuel. So do that. It is free. And then you also, each time you comment on different videos, you also get entered in more times to the grand prize random drawing, which is a free year of Osmo.com premium, a $700 value. So this is all free stuff. Just do it. If you win, great for you. If you don't, it's just a couple seconds of your time. So, yeah, 8 games
100%.
today. 8 games. It's nice. It's nice that we're having some big Friday slates, or mid-sized Friday slates. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We'll start off with a little piece of news here. We've got the Golden Knights and the New Jersey Devils. 3.1 implied total for the Knights, 2.9 for the Devils. Marc-Andre Fleury, Corey Schneider making his first home start of the season, I believe. And then, talk about news. Big news here, Taylor Hall.
Yeah, so Taylor Hall, game time decision. He left practice early today. I don't have any really information. I kind of expect him to play. That's sort of just my inkling, but we'll see, I guess, closer to lock. I mean, if he's out, I think the Devils are in a bit of trouble here. Not much else going on with either team. Oh, and I guess, Pacioretty is also out for the Knights, and Stastny is in on the second line, centering Lindbergh and Tuck. And yeah, so that's about it. Everything else is the same as far as I can tell. Yeah, so I don't know what you think about this game. As you were saying a little bit earlier, you might avoid it a little bit, or
yeah, I mean, so there's like a question mark with Hall. I mean, I would be somewhat interested in that line, and I just don't know if we're going to get the news in a timely manner, so I don't know how around I will be at lock to make changes. So it also didn't come up in my projections, just running stuff in Fantasy Cruncher, neither side really. Not even Vegas won really, which I was a little bit surprised about.
Especially with their Devils goaltending woes, eh?
Yeah, yeah, I would think. But yeah, they weren't coming up. Just my numbers like other stuff. And I was actually looking at what the Devils have been doing with the line matching and the Zajac line. Zajac, Coleman and Wood have been seeing the most time against opposing top competition. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got to fire up Vegas 1. But their numbers are actually really solid defensively.
Yeah.
They're good at slowing things down. And I didn't expect that. So maybe not as easy of a matchup as it looks. People see the 3.1 implied total. That's solid for on the road. Maybe the Devils missing their best player. And then cheap pricing. So I'm not going to end up there, at least not right now. But
I would expect them to be like probably they seem to be continually be in the 10% ish range there.
I think
just because of their price point.
I think they will be tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also with Pacioretty out, that kind of will suck up some of the ownership. I think that would normally go to Vegas too. And if you do want to get Stastny in, I think he's still listed as on the DL, so that always lowers ownership.
Yeah. He's 4,100 coming back. I would like him a lot more if Pacioretty was his other winger, but still not terrible with Tuck and Lindbergh. Vegas 1 not coming up because the projections doesn't realize how bad Corey Schneider really is. He hasn't been good, that's for sure. But maybe he turns it around here. I don't know, but I probably won't end up on Vegas. So this is where I'm at. I can only tell you what I'm doing, right? So
429 goals against, 862 save percentage this year for Schneider. My God, and Vegas has won 9 of their last 11.
Yeah, it's hockey though, right? There's so much variance. I don't know. I'm telling myself that. Where are you going to be at on this game?
I'm curious as to like what's wrong with Schneider's game. I don't get it because he's not like he's just had such a huge downfall the past 2 years. I don't after being like one of the greatest goalies in the league. So
he did have a really unlucky game in his last start.
Yeah,
I remember following some of the beat writers, and they were just saying how he deserved the win. It was like a 6-5 game, but there's a bunch of own goals. Cameron in chat said he had 3 own goals scored on him last game. That's wild.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's kind of like an interesting pivot for tournaments because no one's going to own him, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got anything else in this game, Schmidt?
No, I don't. I don't really know. I'm like you. I'm just kind of indifferent to it. I don't think I might have a little bit of Vegas 1 and maybe just pop in a Devils 1 if Hall plays just to get the contrarian line in. But that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of like Nate Schmidt a little bit. He's been shooting quite a bit since he's come back, and he's 4,100 just as a one-off defender. I might end up there a little bit. And then there's really nothing on the Devils with Butcher on the top power play, and I'm not getting to any double stacks. So this one pretty quiet for me.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, let's move it on to the Coyotes and the New York Rangers. Not sure who's going yet for Arizona. Should be Henrik Lundqvist for the Rangers. No one confirmed on the screen yet.
It's Aiden Hill, I think, is confirmed.
Yeah. Oh, he's confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think so.
That's what I assumed it would be. Daily Faceoff still had Kemper listed as the number 1 on the depth chart, so he shows up on our page. I believe that's how it works. But anyways, Lundqvist, Aiden Hill. We got some new Rangers lines, don't we, Nolan?
Yeah, so looks like Zuccarello and Buchnevich are back for the Rangers. So Zibanejad and Zuccarello are with Chittle on line 1, and then Hayes and Kreider on line 2. And then I think each of those lines has two players on the power play 1, along with Pionk. I always say his name wrong. Pionk. Who's kind of like, he's actually struggled a little bit of late. He's not generating shots. He's not getting points. He's not blocking shots. He's still getting the ice time, but I don't know. This is a nice spot, I guess, for a little bit of regression, positive regression. And then on the Arizona side, looks like no changes. Galchenyuk's probably out again. And yeah, I think same lines. The Arizona lines are a little bit weird. They're like, what is the line? I think that the Cousins line is getting like the most 5-on-5 ice time. I could be wrong. There's like, let me just look at that. I saw it today and I was like, or maybe it was just that Krause was on the 4th line earlier in that.
Maybe that's why you're seeing such low prices for some of these other Arizona forwards, because if they're just spreading ice time
Cousins, Richardson, 25% ice time share. They led the team last game, 5-on-5.
So they're really, really spreading around between their forward lines. Okay.
Yeah. And step in line only 15%. So that's not exactly encouraging. I don't know what you think about this game. I mean, I'm wondering how chalky the Rangers' top 2 lines are going to be. I guess Arizona's like actually like, they used to be such a huge DFS target for everyone, and now whether you're playing Verbata. I think remember when Verbata was chalk all the time.
Yeah.
But now I think like they kind of tend to slow the game down pretty well. But I don't know what are your numbers saying?
Yeah, no, I think the reason it's tough to target against Arizona, especially with more expensive lines, is because the penalty kill. So they're like just elite penalty kill, 90% for the season. No one else besides Minnesota at above 85%. So they're just blowing the that's a huge part of DFS, right? I mean, a quarter of goals are scored on the power play, so you're taking that away, and you see all these low prices against Arizona, who's not a great 5-on-5 team. But you need the lines against them to get there at 5-on-5, and basically only that, because they're just not giving up anything on the power play. That being said, there are some cheap lines here, and I think people will like the shiny new toys with Edel on the top line, and then Buchnevich back. People like him. Hayes, Kreider, Buchnevich, I think, is probably my preferred line. They're going to see some of this Arizona depth. I don't know exactly how they're going to match, but it's going to be Zibanejad against one of the top two, probably Schmaltz Keller. That would be my read right now. But either way, I think both of these Rangers lines are in play just because they're cheap enough where you probably only need 2 goals for them to get there. Whereas if this were like a Boston one with Bergeron or Colorado one, it would probably be more of a fade spot because they're so expensive. It's really hard to get there at even strength, having to score 3 or 4 goals.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. Do you think, like, what's your take on ownership for the Rangers? Do you think, like, they're going to be a little bit higher, like 10, 15%-ish for both lines? Or?
I think maybe one of these lines gets over 10 or 12%, but it's going to be pretty even, I think, between the two. Similar in price. Neither of them, like, with a crazy good matchup, and I don't know. They'll both have some ownership, but I don't think it's going to be to a point where you're going to have to worry about it in tournaments.
Right.
This looks like a throwout game. Yeah, I mean, it's a 6 total. You got to limit your options somewhere, right? But I'm getting a little bit of the Hayes line, and that's about it on my crunches so far. And I'm just doing 20 lineups tonight. I don't know if I mentioned that. So
20, are you doing the $3 or the 8?
I'm doing the 33, the 8, and then the $3 too. So
and the 3.
So just putting the same 20 in there. That's what I plan to do right now.
20 in each of them. Okay.
Goalies, you like Lundqvist or Hill, and then any of these defensemen, none of them really pique my interest all that much.
No. I think that obviously Lundqvist is going to be, I don't know how popular he'll be, but he's probably one of the safest players on the board. Is he? Maybe not. They're minus 152 favorites. Arizona implied for 2.7 goals. So I think he's probably one of the safer plays. I don't know how many shots he's going to see, but
I mean, the Rangers usually do a pretty good job of letting their goalies see a bunch of shots. So I actually don't mind Lundqvist for 8,100 and good win equity and stuff. So he's a guy that definitely keeping in my player pool, even for 20 lineups. So I plan to have at least a couple shares of Hank here.
Rangers aligned the 4th most shots per game.
Yeah, I think a bunch of attempts too. Hopefully, you limit the high danger ones. I don't see any Arizona lines that are particularly worrisome at even strength here.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else in this game?
Nothing.
Let's move it on here. Boston and Pittsburgh, we have a 2.8 implied total for the Bruins, 3.3 for the Penguins. Yaroslav Halak, Casey DeSmith in net for their respective teams. New pit lines, too, it looks like.
Yeah. Zach Aston Reese on with Malkin and Kessel, and Tanner Pearson moves up. He's been skating with Malkin and Kessel since he got traded from LA, so it's interesting. Brassard was on the left wing with Crosby and Guentzel. Now he moves back down to the center of the third line with Brian Rust, fresh off his hat trick, and Riley Sheehan, which is kind of an intriguing cheap line. I don't think I'll have too much of them, probably 0 actually. But the Pittsburgh 3 always grades out well for Osimo, and I think that's it for Pittsburgh stuff. And then Boston looks to be the same as well. I think DeBrusk is still out, so that's that's it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm responding to a message here, but anyways. So we've got Aston Reese, we've got Pearson kind of getting shuffled around here on Pittsburgh. And for me, what that does is it makes Pittsburgh 2 a little bit more affordable. And, my numbers really like Malkin and Kessel, but they're usually priced too high for whatever reason. The DK algorithm really jacks up their prices in good matchups. I think this is a pretty good matchup for them because they're probably going to avoid Marchand, Pasternak, and Krejci. That's going to be the Crosby, Gensel, Pearson duty for the most of the game is how I'm anticipating. So I like the Malkin line here quite a bit, and that is about all I got. What do you see here, Nolan, from a DFS perspective?
Yeah, I think the Pittsburgh 2 is definitely better value. I think with Kessel 60 or Malkin's only like 62. That's $1,600 savings on Crosby. So yeah, definitely. And if they're hard matching, like you say, then that's probably much better option for Pittsburgh. And then of course, as well with Bergeron out, these numbers are going to be a little bit deflated from Boston's perspective with them giving up top 5 in points allowed for forwards. So that has a lot to do with Bergeron, I think. So I kind of like this as a nice sort of, I don't think they'll be necessarily pivot play, but maybe just kind of like probably less owned than they should be.
You like both Pittsburgh lines? Or you're saying Boston?
I like the Pittsburgh 2 more, yeah. But I generally I generally seem to be avoiding Pittsburgh 1 lately. I don't know why. Just because I think the ownership is always the same, and it just seems like Pittsburgh 2 is a little bit better value.
Yeah, when they had Kessel up there, they were super, super expensive those couple games. So it's kind of hard to jam them in, especially when they're around like Colorado 1.
Wentzel always seems a little bit overpriced to me. I guess he's on the power play 1 now, so that changes, but changes things a little bit, but.
Right, when he's 6K and on the second unit, which, if you're not on the first unit, as far as I'm concerned, for Pittsburgh, you're not all that relevant. So if you're 6K and on the second power play, it does, you need to get there at even strength, basically, because that top power play is absolutely stacked always. Yeah. But now that he is on the top power play, I think it's perfectly fine to go there for 6,400. It's just such a big boost when they've got that elite of a unit there, and then Boston doesn't have a great kill. They haven't this entire year, even with Bergeron. So it is a pretty good power play matchup. I just lean towards the Malkin, Kessel, Aston Reese line. Aston Reese 2,800, a value on Osmos grades.
He's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Terrible. Checking his numbers, he looks pretty good.
And you get to you just get to avoid Krejci, Pasternak, and Marchand. So that's the main thing here for the Malkin line for me.
Also, we got to figure out how we're going to fit Tom Wilson into our lineups at just $1,600.
Not playing with Backstrom and Ovechkin. Yeah,
we got to save some money for that.
That'll be a fun one, I'm sure. What about defensemen here? You like anyone? Krug or Letang catching your eye?
I always like Letang. Letang always seems to line up his minutes as well. I think at home and road he seems to line up really well with Pittsburgh 1 way more often. That's a trend I've noticed. And then obviously Krug is always in play a little bit. I don't know. He's a little bit pricey for my taste tonight. But, definitely don't mind either of those two. Any value plays you like on either of these?
Mata and Alexiak are both somewhat interesting as punts just because, like you said, Letang, Dumoulin, they're going to skate the most time with Crosby, Gensel, and Pearson. And then that kind of leaves the bottom 4 for Malkin and Kessel at even strength. And Mata and Alexiak are super cheap. They're not great plays, but as you see, Osmo has Mata as an A value, so I could get behind that for 3,400.
Yeah, Marcus Peterson 3,000. No. Yeah,
didn't he score last game or something? I for whatever reason I was watching that game against the Hawks, and it seemed like he was. Doc was mentioning him a bunch, but he only played 16 minutes, 2 shots on goal. He didn't do all that much, so maybe
second power play. But I think there are better punts tonight.
Yeah,
in that price range.
I agree. Halak or DeSmith. I like DeSmith for 7,700 a little bit here.
Boston 1 intriguing at all?
I'm not going to get there. With Krejci there, it makes him a little bit cheaper than with Bergeron, but it's also a downgrade offensively. I don't love the hard match against Crosby. I know him and Gensel do play somewhat up-tempo. Maybe Pearson can help slow it down a little bit. But when they're going to hard match, I'd rather avoid Crosby if I can, just because he's so good with the puck.
This is all the makings of a pretty tight-fought 3-2.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, too. So, maybe we could just be way off. But, Yeah. Mata, Alexiak, Dumoulin, all better plays than Pedersen. I agree.
Yeah. I'm intrigued about this next game a little bit.
Yeah, all right. Ottawa, Detroit.
Going to Ottawa, Detroit.
Yeah,
We're just going the DraftKings line, yeah.
The barn burner. Here we go.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, we got 2.9 implied total for Ottawa, 3.2 for Detroit, Craig Anderson, and then I believe it's going to be Jimmy Howard. Is that right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Howard. Yeah, so we've got Ottawa who gives up everything on the road. Huge home road splits. Go ahead.
Huge home road splits. They've been terrible. I looked up like the high danger chances against those players today, and it's like 7 Senators at the top of the list. Like, it's crazy.
They just got nothing on the defensive end. So they've got some offensive pop taking.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by this Ottawa one line. Bobby Ryan returns, and he'll be with Boker and Tierney, and then I think everything else is pretty much the same for them. I can't remember who was playing in that wing spot before.
Batherson?
But yeah, Ottawa one. They're a little bit pricier than I thought they should be. What do you think? Are you thinking good value?
I mean, I like Ottawa one. Yeah, so
all 3 on the power play.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is they've got full correlation. Detroit commits. I think they're top 5 in the NHL still in time shorthanded this season. I'll do a quick search, but I believe that's right. Yeah, they're 5th, 110 times shorthanded in 32 games. So what's that? Over 3.5 times per game they're shorthanded. I think that's an excellent spot for this Ottawa power play, who's actually been really solid. So White, Stone, Kachuk, that's the line I like on Ottawa. Gonna have them mixed in with some of these big boy lines like Winnipeg 1 and Colorado 1 in my 20. And then on Detroit, I think there are a couple viable lines as well. The Larkin line is by far my favorite. Even with Ablocator there, they kept his price down, so he's usable at least if you're even strength stacking. But yeah, I absolutely love Larkin tonight. And I don't even know that he's going to see that much time against White, Stone, Kachuk, because what Detroit did in their last game was they had the third line, the Glendening line, that's awful, go up against the opposing top line. And if they do that, the White, Stone, Kachuk line should smoke them. And Detroit's dumb enough to do that. So, I mean, I love both top lines, and then there's certainly a case to be made for the Nielsen, Athanasiou, Vanek line as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, with Nielsen and Vanek on the power play 1, 2, and then they're both super cheap. So I think that line is a nice like filler if you're going to stack as well with some of these higher price lines for sure. And then don't like anything else past Ottawa 1 in terms of lines. I think I'll go anywhere.
Yeah. Defenseman, anyone that you want to mention here?
Yeah, Cholowski is 4,100. With Mike Green out 3 to 5 weeks, I think he probably gets a bump up. So he got 16 minutes last game, but I would expect him to return to kind of like maybe closer to 20. He's on the power play 1. I think as well, like if you're looking for a $2,500 punt, Hronek. How do you say?
I like it. I like it.
20 minutes a game, 22 minutes a game last time he played. Obviously, that was back in October. They just recalled him from the AHL. So he's kind of had some offensive upside. He's not on the power play, but he should see some decent ice time tonight.
Yeah, so, for that, so he's coming in. He's not just being thrown on the third pairing. He's playing on the second pairing. Cronwall's seeing 20 minutes plus some games. So, you can probably expect him to see 18, 20 minutes here, and he's dead minimum salary. He's a guy that I was playing a little bit. He got some top power play time, when he was playing in October, and it's mostly just dead minimum in a game where I expect there to be a ton of chances. So maybe some assist equity there if he sees 20 minutes. And so I was actually going to mention him. I really like him a lot as a punt. And then Cholowski, of course, top power play, correlates well with either of the top 2 lines on Detroit. And then Shabbat, love mentioning Shabbat, 6,200. Yeah, just a beast offensively. Who knows what he can do on the defensive end? Not much at this point, especially with his teammates, in front of him. So he's 6,200. Gonna be probably.
I like him just as a standalone too. I just love just throwing him in the lineups.
Love it. Yeah, standalone or with Auto 1, he's gonna be in probably my highest exposed player tonight.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, 26, 28, 26, 25 minutes last few games. So
love it. All right, and then you touching either of the goalies here with Anderson or Howard?
No, not on my radar at all. What do you think?
I like Howard a little bit. If Detroit can stay out of the penalty box, which is a big if, then I think they should be able to put enough goals up for Howard to at least get the win. And he's going to see a bunch of shots because it's Detroit. They gave up like 30-some shots to L.A. at home the other night. So
nice.
So
it's interesting. If you're playing FanDuel, like I think like Howard's, it's weird. Like the pricing, like Osmo has so many A-grade values on goaltenders in FanDuel and not one on DraftKings. I think like there's no real standout goalie to me tonight. I don't know about you, but I just kind of think like I'm pretty much going to be mixing and matching some of the better guys and just going for correlation. I'm
correlating tonight, so I'm going probably 4-3-1 and correlating with one of my stacks. Just because I have limited lineups, the goalie win is the most important thing. I'm playing in some fields that are like 700 people, so just need to get that win, and maybe you get the guy that gets the shutout and the line scores a couple goals, and you catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next game, we've got the Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes. 3.3 implied total for the Caps, 3.1 for Carolina. Braden Holtby going up against Scott Darling, question mark?
I don't know.
Mrazek started last night. I don't know if they'll go back to him.
Yeah. And like McElhaney's still...
He's hurt.
Is he for sure out?
He was yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I know Darling backed up Mrazek. You know, if Mrazek would have gotten hurt or gotten pulled, Mrazek would have been the guy that would have come in. So.
The good news is they're all the exact same price on DK anyways. So if you find out later that somebody else is in, it's pretty quick, easy swap. So
for sure.
I guess I would expect Darling.
Yeah. You got any notes we should mention off the top here?
Tom Wilson back in the lineup after getting concussed. Burakovsky is out for the Caps. Wilson is just insanely priced. I feel like he's like the most mispriced player in the history of fantasy sports this week, or tonight. So I won't be rostering too much of him. But you never know. I mean, that will obviously lower his ownership to nothing. He'll play with Kuznetsov and Vrana, and then same Caps top line. Carolina, I think going with the same lines. Let me just double check that. But I think they're going with the same lines as last game as well.
They've got this guy on the second line that he's min salary. What? How do you pronounce it?
Yanni Kukkonen.
Kukkonen? Okay.
I don't.
Better than At least you tried, right?
Sounds Finnish.
Yeah. So I actually do like Carolina, but their top line with Aho, Teravainen, and Martinuk just underpriced. So they're coming up as a very good value for me.
What about Carolina 3, who's kind of been getting a ton of ice time? I think they were like 30% last game, 5-on-5. Svechnikov still on the power play one, and like they seem to have pretty good numbers lately, right? And they had their prices caught up with them.
They had really great numbers with Walmart, Svechnikov, and Martinuk. And I'm assuming they've kind of picked that up with Williams. They've had good results too. So that's the other line that I think is fine. They're super cheap on DraftKings, under 12K, it looks like.
Yeah.
Tavo never does anything. Yeah. It's weird. He should, right? I mean, he's his price come down, but I don't know what's going on with Tavo. He's just not getting in on the scoring, it seems like. But Aho, Martinuk, Teravainen, they're just so cheap together. And
yeah. They're so hard to figure out. This team's so hard to figure out this year. I just can't. I don't know. And then, I kind of like Justin Williams. I think he's due for a little positive regression. I think we're starting to see it. But, so that line definitely. And then Washington 1, are you going to have some exposure to that as well?
I'm not right now. My last 20 that I did, which is worrisome. I don't. There's no matchup that I'm worried about. You like Oshie back in that top line. Wilson had been filling in really, really nicely, especially when getting power play one time. But now he's kind of outside of a like contrarian Washington 2 stack. Wilson's just kind of off the table for me at almost 7K and not on the top power play. If he was, then maybe you could get to him. But whatever. He's just overpriced. DK will adjust the next couple games. If they keep these lines, that is. So it's gonna be Carolina 1 for me. I always like targeting against Washington. I do that as much as anyone. It seems like they give up a ton of high danger chances, a ton of scoring chances. At home, on the road, it doesn't really matter. And I'm not a huge fan of Holtby either. So.
Yeah. Washington 1, like, continually, that line's, like, as far as lines that are together for a long time, they're continually, like, among the top 5 worst in the league for high danger chances and chances against, right?
Yeah, they do give it up. give up what they take. Add Aho to Carolina 2. Does that mean the Walmart line? Yeah, you could do that too if you want to go like Walmart, Svechnikov, and Williams, or Walmart, Svechnikov, and Aho, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I'm even strength stacking tonight, so I'm just letting Fantasy Cruncher input it for me. Anything else in this game you want to talk about, Nolan?
I mean, like Holtby is also always viable. I mean, I like to target goaltenders against Hurricanes. I mean, they get a ton of shots. They don't convert on their chances. So generally speaking, I think it's never a bad play. But I think everyone's onto that at this point. So yeah, I think a correlation play or just maybe going somewhere else.
Yeah, Holtby really priced up. Man, 8,300. Boy, I don't know that I'll get to that. I don't think I have any shares of him right now, but. If I do, it's going to be 1 or 0. Carlson would be the guy you want to go to if you're making a Washington 1 stack, but then you're getting real expensive. So I don't even know if that's possible. I'm assuming it's possible, but you're going to need to get a very cheap, like third line or something.
Yeah.
No other defenders on the cap side. You know, I want Dougie Hamilton to be a thing, but right now I'd probably go to Slavin as the best value outside of Falk, who would be the guy with power play 1.
I still like Falk. I think like he just has not scored this year. He's still generating shots. He's got like 95 shots or something like that. He's just not getting the puck through. He's got 1 goal in 30 games, so well below his or his career shooting percentage, which is like really high for a defenseman. So Falk's just a great GPP play because he can score at any time, I think, as well. Just like I don't know. So I continue if I have that sort of defender around that price range. He's one of the guys I'm going to for sure.
Yeah, I like Falk. I like Slavin a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I think it was yesterday. I'm probably going to be a day late on the Dougie big game because it'll come at some point. But I just kind of stopped playing him, especially with limited lineups.
Yeah, his ice time's down too. And if you are stacking this game defenseman wise, I think Falk's with Carolina 1 generally, and that was a home and road. And then Hamilton or Hamilton's probably better with Carolina 3 or Carolina 2, depending on what
the Walmart line.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, let's do it. Let's go to the next game. Colorado and St. Louis. We have a 3.3 implied total for the Avs, 3.1 for the Blues. Philip Grubauer, Jake Allen in net for their teams. Colorado 1 is on the slate, so there's always a question of what do you want to do with them. So, Nolan, what do you want to do with them on DraftKings for 23,200?
I'm pivoting off them tonight. I'm going more towards the Blues here, just sort of banking on some regression for the Blues. I like St. Louis 1 and St. Louis 2. St. Louis 2 is obviously way too cheap. We have two of their players graded as A's, and they're the 2 cheapest A grades. I think that's Shen and Schwartz. So that line was really good a couple nights ago as well. And then the top line, I think Tarasenko and O'Reilly are both on the power play. I hate the defense correlation there, obviously, but Parayko is getting a ton of time with St. Louis 1. He seems to be taking over a lot of the ice time there. So I just think like the price point on both St. Louis 1 and 2 is pretty strong as well. The Avalanche are giving up the most high danger chances in the NHL on the road this season. So right? Yeah, it kind of shocked me when I saw that.
Is that at all strengths?
That's all strengths.
Okay.
That's including
power play.
That's
including because they just commit so many penalties. But yeah, that's part of it, right? I mean,
so I don't know like what you think about like incorporating something like that or incorporating those like sort of macro numbers or what.
I think that's great. I think that's great. You know, you want to look at 5-on-5, but also you get points for scoring on power plays too. So you need to include all strengths as well.
So yeah, I like both these lines. They fit in well. They stack well with other lines. The Shen, Schwartz, and Perron line can stack with like just about any other top line other than Colorado if you need to. And I like going to Jake Allen as well as a contrarian play. He's cheap. He can get hot. He won he shut out the Jets a couple weeks back and won someone at PP. So he's definitely the kind of streak goalie that I like to target in a seemingly bad situation that will probably go a little overlooked tonight.
Yeah. You think? No, I pretty much agree with everything you said. So Colorado 1, I think they're a great stack. They are the most expensive stack on the night, and that's a little bit problematic when you're trying to double stack. So if you want to get creative and play a bunch of Colorado 1, that's fine, but they're $2K more than the next highest price stack. which is Washington 1, who we just talked about. And that 2K makes a huge difference. So it's going to be tough. Like, I've got about 10%. That's 2 out of 20 right now, and that's kind of where I'm comfortable being. Because if they do go off, I would be really sad if I wasn't in on the party because I love them. They're my highest projected stack is from a points perspective, but it's just really tough to fit stuff in, especially with them being on the road. And so I like them. I like them a lot. Going to have a couple shares. And then on the St. Louis side, the O'Reilly, Steen, Tarasenko line, I expect them to see the most time against McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. And so that not only means, a pretty back-and-forth matchup, but a ton of ice time for O'Reilly, Tarasenko, and Steen. O'Reilly already plays a ton of minutes, and now you throw him in, like, possibly a hard match situation against Colorado 1, and that's just money to me. So I'm playing a ton of St. Louis 1. They're going to be in a lot of my lineups, and
Tarasenko due for some regression as well. There was a tweet from the Point Twitter account, which I shared in my Power Play articles. He's tied for 4th in the NHL in shots on net from the slot, but he's only scored on 9% compared to 17% in his previous seasons. And his shooting percentage is just like about 60% of what it normally is. So I think like his price is down. I think he's definitely due for some positive regression.
Yeah, under 6K is absurd for someone that talented, playing with 2 good line mates. It's just
on FanDuel, he's
clear
priced
underprice. Yeah, clear underprice on DK. So I like what you said about Parayko. In like a one-off scenario, I would prefer Parayko over Dunn, but it makes it more even that Dunn's getting that top power play time. And then Tyson Barrie is where it starts and ends for Colorado for me.
He's after like a bit of a rough patch there. He seems to be like gaining the confidence of the coaching staff or whatever, but he seems to be getting way more ice time after coming back from injury and a bit of a slump there. So he had like 15 minutes, I think, with Colorado 1 last game. So I would definitely fire him up in any Colorado stacks if you can afford him. Or
actually, that's a lie about starting and ending with Tyson Barrie. Patrick Nemeth, $2,600 punt. Osmo's got him as an A grade. Yeah, I like that. So him and Hronik or Ronick, whatever his name is, those are gonna be my 2 like dumpster diving punts. I like Nemeth. He does block a lot of shots.
Nemeth partner.
He's third pairing, but he sees like I think 17 or 18 per game.
Nice.
So he saw 12 last game, so that's a bit worrisome. But that was against Edmonton. I'm trying to think why he would see just 12 minutes. Maybe they just rode the EJ pairing, and you got to play Barrie. So with McDavid, and that does make actually a little bit of sense. But
that's all I got. Never played Colorado 2, 3, 4. Just my style. I don't know.
It's just so hard. It's like with Edmonton, right? Like if you're not playing McDavid, if you're not playing McKinnon, you really want to play a second line that maybe might see 65, 70% of the ice time.
So that's such a huge drop off. These guys, it's unreal.
Yeah. So
should we
move it on?
Speed up here.
Yeah, let's do it. We do have an NBA show coming, or 2 NBA shows coming up after this. I think the deeper dive guys are going to start a little early. Great NBA slate tonight, 9 games. On the contrary, tomorrow. So we've got live before lock. We've got the deeper dive, all the good stuff.
Take advantage of these final 3 weeks of crazy sports fantasy season.
Oh yeah, NFL ownership projections will be out tomorrow morning. Use those to your advantage. Screw NBA. Yes, but watch our shows also, because you can earn additional entries into the free drawings as well if you comment what they say to comment. So do that. All right, it's free. Winnipeg, Chicago. 3.4 implied total for the Jets, 3.1 for the Blackhawks. Is it going to be Hellebuck? This is a back-to-back for the Jets, if I remember correctly. And then it's going to be Corey Crawford for the Hawks, per usual. So is it going to be Hellebuck now that I'm thinking of it?
Was it Hellebuck last night?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Brossoit? Could it be Brossoit?
Was it Brossoit last night? I thought it might have been...
I'm trying to think what it was.
I'm just going back here. Maybe someone can tell us. Stupid. Hellebuck? Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Don't be
I don't know. I'm guessing they'll I have actually no idea what they're going to do. They haven't announced it yet. So
Helly? We're seeing Helly in chat. All right.
Okay.
FanDuel has Brossoit projected. don't listen to FanDuel on anything NHL related. Is what I would do. Their lines are always wrong, I hear, so don't pay attention to that. Look on third-party sites or Twitter. All right.
I saw you're liking a little bit of Chicago 2 tonight.
Yeah. Strome, DeBrincat, Kane, they're going to be terrible defensively, so enjoy your Winnipeg 2 shares. I won't have any just because they're priced out of where I'd like them to play, and like I said, limited lineups tonight. So it's going to be Chicago 2 and Winnipeg 1 in a healthy amount of my lineups. Different price points, obviously, but I like the matchup with the little Connor line for this Chicago 2 line, and Kane and DeBrincat, I think, are both underpriced. Osmo likes this as a value as well, so that doesn't hurt. I would give the Tays line a shot if I had more lineups tonight. All three of those guys getting power play time. The issue I'm having is I think they're going to get dominated by the Scheifele, Wheeler, Ehlers line at even strength. Even though it is a back-to-back, this line, it's just such a way better line than almost any other line in the NHL. And Scheifele and Wheeler together, you put them with a talented winger in Ehlers, and it's just such a good trio of players. And the Tays, Saad, Cahoon line, they have terrible numbers in a short sample. Wouldn't expect them to get any better tonight. So Winnipeg 1, Chicago 2 for me. What about you?
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to get out. Winnipeg 1's so expensive too, and I'm sure they're going to be popular, though. They're on back-to-backs. I kind of was thinking about maybe going a little contrarian and putting in Crawford a little bit. He was pretty good to me last week. So, but I don't know. I don't know what about this guy. I like Chicago too, just because of that price point too. That kind of stood out. So I definitely will be pairing them up with a few, and then I probably will just have a little bit of Winnipeg 1, just because I hate not having Winnipeg 1. It just it's like you in Colorado 1. I just don't like it.
So right, yeah, that's the thing. You do get Laine and Connor. Connor's creating a ton of high danger chances I saw over his last 5 or so games. So I like that, but they're just priced close enough to some other lines where I'm not quite getting to them.
People love to play Winnipeg at home. I also find more Winnipeg on the road. I mean, it's probably with good reason. Their splits are probably pretty good.
Winnipeg 1 at home has been a thing for a while. Yeah, they're nuts.
So I don't think with Winnipeg on back-to-backs, I don't think that's the worst fade in the world. Just sort of kind of fading those lines a little bit, but it's risky.
Oh yeah, it's risky. I would be very scared fading Winnipeg 1 tonight.
Yeah.
So even though it's a back-to-back, they should dominate the Tays line. Assuming Tays does hard match, that's what I'm expecting here. Kane line probably won't see much time at all against Scheifele, Wheeler, Ehlers. If they do, that's even a bigger bonus for Winnipeg 1. But yeah, you mentioned Crawford. He's cheap, and this is why I like correlating goalies tonight. If you are going to Chicago 2, you can definitely correlate with Crawford, because you look at these game logs, and he sees a million shots. So he's going to see a bunch of shots tonight. 30-plus is easily. Could see 40 even on a back-to-back for Winnipeg. But when he wins, which is not very often, but when he does stand on his head, he's getting 8, 9, 10 DK points. So it's just he's so cheap. He's at home. It is a back-to-back. You know the shot volume's still going to be there. If he can stand on his head again, that's huge for $7,100. So I'm going to have a bunch of Crawford, probably around 20%, which is a lot for me for goalies.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's good to know. He's so cheap. His last 3 wins: 9.8, 8.0, 6.6. He got 6.6 fantasy points in a loss. That's nuts.
It's crazy. I mean, the Blackhawks are terrible. Don't watch the game, because he could just as easily get pulled. He's awesome, but when he's off at all, he's very likely to get pulled because Chicago's so bad. But
it's so bad.
Yeah, that's
I got nothing else on this game. Sorry. One more note. I don't know what the line matching would say for this, but Winnipeg 3 as well has been kind of just popping for me a little bit lately. They're so cheap. They get so much 5-on-5 ice time. I guess a lot of it, they don't probably have huge upside, but as far as third lines go, if you're pairing them, I think they're generally my favorite go-to third line combo, because they're so cheap, and they occasionally will have a 1 or 2 goal game.
Right. I think they're going to probably see more ice time at home, where Winnipeg can dictate matchups, just because they'll see more time against opposing second lines when it's more of a balanced team. Because they want to give the little Line Connor line a bunch of favorable matchups against the depth lines. So I think that may be the reason. But yeah, they're crazy cheap. What are they, 10K?
This is probably less than 10K, I think. But this is probably just me being a little bit irrational. I don't know why, but
we do have Colorado 1 on this slate. So if you're multi-entering, it wouldn't be a dumb idea to leave them in. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Defenseman here. We've got Seabrook for 4,700, who I actually like.
Yeah,
price has come down.
He's been shooting the puck a little more.
Yeah, he's terrible, but that's sometimes you play terrible players and they play 22 minutes and they play on the top power play and they correlate with your guys. So he's another one. Don't watch if you actually like hockey, but he's just he just loves firing it into defenders' knees. He gets so many shots blocked. I don't know what he's doing, but anyone else notice all the reverse line movements on the Vegas odds? I don't look at that. Do you, Nolan?
No, I don't, but I should actually. I was kind of making a mental note to look at that. What were some of the reverse line movements?
Chris,
I saw some really big ones. What's that?
I was just saying, Chris, drop them in if you see if there's any notable ones. We don't look at them, so.
I noticed that the Capitals opens at 3 with a 3.6 implied or whatever, and then went way down, and then Penguins opened at -138 and gone way up. So where do you actually if you're sorry, I don't have access to the chat, but where do you get your line your reverse line movement info?
Me? Oh, I don't know.
No, the
oh yeah, chat.
In the chat,
help us out. Where do you guys? Is it Sports Insights? I don't know. Are they reliable? I don't know.
I've seen that mentioned more and more in DFS circles in both NFL and NHL.
I just don't know what to do with it. Does reverse?
I think I think probably pertains less to players and more towards goalies. If you're seeing a lot of sharp money on certain players, you could probably kind of maybe think that would produce a win more likely scenario. And then also you can use that information if the crowd is on one thing and the sharps are on another, that likely means that ownership is going to be on that one thing and maybe sharp DFSers are on another. So I do think there's definitely some value in that information for sure.
Yeah. That could be the case. Devils getting some reverse line movement earlier today, but it tailed off and Hall was announced game time decision. That makes sense.
Right. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. People.
Yeah. So we're getting a couple, Sports Insights, Odd Shark. I don't know. Feel free to check these out.
Sports Info, sweet. Yeah. I'll check them out in the next couple of days. Maybe we'll see if they have any predictive value.
Yeah. All right. Last game of the night.
Last one.
And we'll get out of here. 3.1 implied total for the Flyers. 3.3 for the Edmonton Oilers. Going to be Stolarz going up against Koskinen. Is that your read, Stolarz?
I think so.
Few lines I think that are in play. I just mentioned that I don't like playing the non-McDavid Edmonton lines, but this second line was coming up for me a little bit. Nugent Hopkins with Kara and Puljujarvi. Everything all right over there, Nolan?
Just dropping things left, right,
and center.
Yeah, that's interesting. Nuge has actually been pretty good lately.
I mean, they're just, it's basically it's the same price for Puljujarvi and Kara together as it is to play Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah,
so it's just 10-6 for that line. It's pretty nice.
That's not bad. I like the I don't know, I haven't had a chance to look at the Flyers penalty kill, but I think they're pretty bad, aren't they?
They are, I believe, dead last. I wrote it in my article today. I can't remember if they're last.
So I like that McDavid, Nuge, Draisaitl stack on the power play with obviously my 100% owned player Darnell Nurse tonight. So yeah, that's kind of it's kind of like what Calgary does with Tkachuk, fading Lindholm sometimes gives you that edge, and getting Nuge in there might be just a kind of way to contrarian, make your lineup a little more contrarian.
I think that's smart. Just add Ryan.
He's priced down. He's only 5,300. Yeah, and Osmo always loves him. So,
I mean, I like him. He's creating a ton of chances this season, and a lot of that was probably with McDavid and Draisaitl, but. Looks like he's doing okay on his own as well with Kara and Puljujarvi together. So,
Are you? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I like that line a little bit as a filler, just cheap, and they're coming up as good value. A lot of that's due to Nugent Hopkins and then Puljujarvi's per 60 numbers. When he's getting real ice time, he's always in play. And then I absolutely love Edmonton 1 here. hard not to. Huge total. It's McDavid. He's playing with Draisaitl. Full line, gets power play one time. Great power play matchup. All that stuff. So I don't even know if we really need to talk about them that much. Do you like anything on the Flyer side?
I don't know. I'm intrigued by this. I think full game stacks are definitely in order. The Flyers are priced down a little bit. At least like both top two lines have like kind of cheap options on the line stacks as well. Like Simmons is down in 4K. I've always been a sucker for just popping Simmons into a lineup here or there if I can, if I'm not full stacking, because this guy can just go off out of nowhere. I don't know what your numbers say about line matching. I know you've said Edmonton's been giving up a ton of chances as well, so I don't know if they'll hard match. But I think like all the top three Flyers lines are kind of somewhat intriguing, but I would obviously go to Flyers 1 if I can afford it.
Are you talking about Giroux?
Yeah, Konechny and JVR.
Yeah,
like that's a cheap line, right?
Yeah, I mean they're 15-7 in total.
Yeah.
I like that quite a bit. So they're my next line after the McDavid line in this game, and then I would probably just rank it how you're seeing it on the screen. So the Giroux line, then Couturier line, then Patrick.
Yeah.
I just hate playing Michael Raffle, even for 2,800. He just, like you said, like Couturier had a huge game, and yeah, some of it was that shorthanded or whatever, but he just never, like, so unlikely to get in on it. And you see, even for 2,800 playing with Couturier and Voracek, he's still a D value grade, D points grade. So
yeah, that's something you might want to even just consider fading him and trying for a little pivot to get something original, but which I will do on occasion. I'll do like two player stacks once in a while, especially in smaller GPPs.
How do you not take a chance on Lars at 6,700 with Edmonton on a back-to-back? Oof. I mean, road to
that's
home
an intriguing
back-to-back.
option, I think. Like I think for GPPs it's totally viable. Because I don't mean Edmonton's only got one line that can score, so
I think if I'm taking a shot on Lars, it is if I'm stacking the Couturier or the Couturier or the Giroux lines. Yeah.
I like that as contrarian stack for sure tonight. I think that'll probably go under owned. And then like for me, I don't know what your take on Nurse is, but just all the Nurse for me, especially if you're playing FanDuel, like $4,000 for a guy getting 30 minutes a game. Just sign me up.
Even 5K. Great value even for 5K. Great power play spot. Playing in the top unit. I think he only took like 4 or 5 shot attempts last game, but I would expect that to go up. Yeah,
and he's blocking shots. He's 3-4 block shots, 3-6 shots on goal since Clefbaum went out. 31 minutes, 9.5, 6.5 fantasy points. Like he's we're seeing him emerge, I think, in this role.
Looking at kind of like block shots stuff. I mean, I don't even want to mention McDonald, but there you go. Like he blocked 4 shots last game. He will stick his nose in there. Doesn't really do much else. I'm trying to see if like is Hag blocking shots? Is anyone here? Because I think Philadelphia's going to get peppered. So anyone that's willing to should at least be put in play. But yeah, it doesn't look like nothing crazy. Hag. But yeah, this one's about it for me. Anything else you got on this game or this slate in general?
No, I got nothing. I think I like a few contrarian plays today. I think that's just where I'm going to go with a lot of my action. Chicago, I think Chicago, Philly, St. Louis. I think one of those comes through if you pair them with the right lineup, then you're ahead of the game.
Yeah. All right, guys. Nolan, thanks for joining. We have the 24 days of giveaway going on, and comment and like this video. You're going to comment with the highest scoring defenseman today on either site, whether it's our buddy Darnell Nurse or Shabbat, whoever you want. So once this video is done, comment, like. That's how you get entered into the giveaway for the free month of Osmo.com Premium to the sport of the winner's choosing. Anything for football? I know you do a football article, Nolan.
Yeah, I got from the slot coming out tomorrow. We're going to probably focus a little bit on that Yahoo tournament, which is just nuts. I know EMAC also has an article. If you're playing football, he has an article, free one out right now about covering Yahoo pricing as well, which should be a little bit interesting this week. So
yeah, join that Yahoo tournament. Get as many entries in as you feel comfortable doing. Support that. Read EMAC's article. Read Nolan's stuff. Look at my projections. Promo code Hit the Ice gets you a free week. And thanks for joining, guys. Win some money so you can enter in that Yahoo contest tonight.